Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. I'm Dave Froehlich. We're taking a look at some of the crime stories that have made headlines recently in our area. A stolen car turned into an officer-involved shooting with the suspect leading police on an hours-long manhunt in South Austin. Here's more on that story from Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt.
This is an emergency message.
Austin police officers were doing a routine curfew check at Zilker Park on Wednesday morning when they came across a car that had been reported stolen.
The tow company arrived and the officer was assisting with that, doing his paperwork, and saw two individuals start to exit from the lining of the trees.
The suspect came out of the woods following behind a woman. The pair was described as being two white adults, likely in their late 20s or early to mid-30s. The man appeared to be hiding something in his hands.
The officer gives commands, show me your hands, let me see your hands. At that point, the male suspect brought up his gun, fired, and struck the female in the back of the head.
A shootout began with the man striking the officer, but the officer, wounded, was still able to return fire as the suspect ran for the woods.
And I see a helicopter coming out, and I'm like, what's happening, you know? Like, this is crazy.
At that point, the officer was taken to the hospital and rushed into emergency surgery. The woman, who was shot in the head, in critical condition, not expected to survive, and the shooter was gone.
My husband actually saw, along with another dad, saw the suspect, within a block of the school as we were approaching.
A 911 call from an Austin ISD police sergeant comes in, reporting a suspicious person at Barton Hills Elementary School, which is right next to Zilker. That school, along with other close-by campuses, all went into lockdown. A shelter-in-place order was issued for 50 minutes. Then it was lowered to an avoid the area alert.
It was weird to be told that everything is okay when they actually had no idea where he was, and then he popped up here.
The suspect didn't hang around the school for long.
He then ran into the Barton Hills community and ran into a house. At that point, he was shot by the owner of that home.
The homeowner shot the man in the arm and leg.
The homeowner, who is here, I saw him on my way up the elevator, and he stopped me, and he said, I want to tell you that shelter in place saved my life. It saved our family. Because of that, I prepared.
With that being said, this manhunt has raised serious questions about the confusion amid the chaos with the alert systems.
This is an emergency message.
I would love to know what happened between the police department and the school district in terms of their communication failure, and then what's going to be done about it to fix it in the future.
I will get to the bottom of why that happened and ensure that there's processes in place to ensure that it does not happen again.
Father of 9 was killed in a violent robbery in North Austin in August. Now the victim's family is fighting for justice. Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch reporter Meredith Aldis has that story.
This is a sports bar in North Austin Miguel Mondragon went to often.
He had many friends on the bar there where he was that night. He was the frequent customers there, and like everybody knew them there.
It's also a place Yanariz Reyes used to work at, but court documents show she was recently fired because she was stealing cash and wallets from customers.
She basically was the one who would be in charge of targeting the victims. After targeting the victims, though, I guess I was starting their little routes of each victim and pass the report to her boyfriend. And the boyfriend will be the one in charge of gathering up the group and all that to basically commit the crime.
And that may have been what happened in the early morning hours of August 3rd. Police say when Mondragon left the bar with his buddies at a little after 2:30, they pulled into the parking lot of the Michoacana Market to cut through the road. That's when two cars blocked them in on both sides. Multiple people in masks and armed with guns walked up to the truck Mondragon was in and demanded their jewelry and money. Mondragon got out of the truck and tried to run, but was shot and killed.
How is somebody capable of doing that, and why?
Austin police have now arrested 5 people for capital murder.
Right now, as we know, one of them's out on a bond. And it's just crazy because, from my knowledge, he was one of the main people there. Obviously, all of them are important to this case, but the fact that that person is just free like that after what they did.
And court documents reveal this group may have been involved in an aggravated robbery in Pflugerville just days prior.
It's really frustrating. It's like, wow, y'all gotta wait with this for quite a while until it came down to my dad.
A month after what his daughters describe as the most devastating day of their lives, they're fighting for justice.
We're trying to be that voice for my dad now that he's not here. Raise awareness of all this, of the situation that's happened on the community. Unfortunately, Hispanics or Latinos attack another one. It's just sad. Obviously, we're just trying to make some kind of change and obviously get these people out of the streets.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
A suspicious death near Manor is now turned into a homicide investigation with that suspect still at large. Fox 7 Austin's Alec Nolan has that story.
This is a photo of 28-year-old Olmer Lopez, the man now on the run in connection with the murder of his ex-girlfriend near Manor. The Travis County Sheriff's Office says the incident happened just before 1 a.m. on East Palmer Lane near Highway 130. Deputies responded to disturbance calls of people yelling in the parking lot of this apartment complex. When they arrived, 33-year-old Yuri Bobadilla was found lying on the pavement in need of immediate medical attention. First responders performed CPR before she was rushed to a hospital, but just hours later, she was pronounced dead. Witnesses and surveillance video indicate Bobadilla suffered physical abuse at the hands of Lopez and was pushed into the path of a moving vehicle. Lopez fled the scene before deputies arrived.
Domestic violence has a really high prevalence here in Texas. I like to say that we have a problem.
Austin nonprofit Safe Alliance says it's seen an uptick in these types of cases in recent years, with 1 in 3 Texans suffering domestic violence in their lifetime.
I think one thing for people to be aware of is that the danger that increases when survivors or people experiencing that are trying to leave.
Safe Alliance says the risk of lethality increases 77% when those experiencing domestic violence try to leave the relationship.
Survivors are always making the best decisions that they can in an impossible situation. And so you can't predict or control what another person is going to do or how they're going to react.
If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, you can go to safeaustin.org or text them at the number you see there on the screen, 737-888-7233. Help is available 24/7. Well, months of car break-ins, supposedly by the same people, are still happening at Austin area parks. Here's more on that story from Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt.
More than half a dozen people are wanted by the Austin Police Department. The group has outstanding felony warrants for their arrest, 3 of whom were part of a large-scale bust back in March. You may recognize them from their mugshots.
Unfortunately, jail can be somewhat of a revolving door for these people.
This time, APD is also searching for Deja Moore, Tyrion Titus, Trayvon Swain, and Kashayla Taylor. All of them have criminal histories, all repeat offenders, and they're all in their 20s. Jamila Westmoreland has 2 active warrants for felony theft. Her lengthy rap sheet in Travis County dates back to at least 2015. Westmoreland has several charges that were not filed, dismissed, or resulted in jail time and fines.
A lot of low-level offenders, a lot of cash transactions, and that in and of itself can make it very difficult to prosecute.
There's 5 active felony warrants out for Taylor. According to court records, 2 prior credit debit card abuse allegations on her record ultimately resulted in those charges not being filed by the DA.
It's really very difficult for the system to get a square shot at the jaw of some of these offenders, which is why you sort of see them kind of rising to the surface again and again and again.
Next up is Destiny Thomas, wanted for engaging in organized criminal activity connected to a vehicle burglary at Bull Creek Park. She's had at least 3 charges rejected by the DA's office. Thomas pled guilty twice to credit debit card abuse in 2022 and 23. Meanwhile, Armony White is wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, as well as felony credit debit card abuse. White has already been arrested twice this year. In January, she was caught pulling on car door handles at Mount Bonnell, a known hotspot for car break-ins. The North Metro Tactical Response realized a warrant was issued for White a week earlier for a probation violation related to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon conviction. They caught White during a traffic stop, who once again gave them a fake name. But officers were well aware of who she was at this point and took her in again. Moore is wanted on felony debit credit card abuse, which she went to jail for twice in June. Titus has been in the Travis County jail record system since 2016. He's wanted for engaging in organized criminal activity.
You would charge them with the theft value of the items that they stole in aggregate, and then you could actually increase that by one level through what's called engaging in organized criminal activity.
Lastly, Swain has a warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and a probation violation. He was detained in August after police found him looking into vehicles at Mayfield Park and Nature Preserve, charged with attempted burglary of a vehicle. He pled guilty in July for credit debit card abuse and was sentenced to 60 days in jail.
One of the problems in the criminal justice system is when you deal with somebody who has a lot of paper cut type charges, it's really difficult for the system to land a square blow.
Katie Pratt, Fox 7 Austin News.
Multiple break-ins in a matter of days have left one downtown business looking for help. Store owners say it's more than just an isolated incident, but instead a pattern of criminal activity over the years. Here's Fox 7 Austin's Marco Bitnell with that story.
A daring break-in caught on camera early Tuesday morning. The front doors of a Royal Blue grocery in downtown Austin bursting open.
Well, he did a good job of keeping his head low and moving fast.
A man seen heading behind the counter, not grabbing cash, but instead cigarettes. Minutes later, APD can be seen entering the store, but by then the suspect was already gone. But this is far from the first time they'd responded to the store. In fact, it's the third time the store on 3rd and Lavaca has been broken into in just the last 3 days.
And the way they broke in was the same each time. They grabbed these wooden double doors and shook them back and forth so violently until they splintered open.
There's just more to be done, and I think there needs to be a bigger voice for this issue.
Craig Staley is one of the owners of Royal Blue Grocery in Austin and says based on video evidence, he believes the 3 break-ins are the same man. But the issue isn't just isolated to one person in one location, it's something that affects their stores across downtown.
Going back about 5 years, we've been dealing with this on a regular basis. All of our stores now have been broken into multiple times.
Staley believes the matter of public safety comes down to better mental health legislation and increased police presence. An audit of APD in April revealed the department had over 330 vacancies among sworn officers. Vacancies which Staley feels threaten the spirit of downtown.
If it's not one of the safest places in Austin, Texas, then we're at risk of sort of losing sort of the flavor of this city.
And for shoppers of Royal Blue Grocery, the break-in's not surprising for an area in which they feel crime has thrived.
It's pretty sad. It's consistent with the area. Honestly, I'm not surprised. It's par for the course at the current moment.
When I first moved here, Austin was known as the city to be safe. You never even had to worry about going downtown or looking behind your back or anything, and I feel like crime has increased.
But despite the break-in, Staley is optimistic for the future of downtown Austin, but believes the only way forward is through changes from the top.
Eventually, we need to put a legislature in place in Texas that's more concerned with public safety, mental health, and people's general health.
Family of a man who was stabbed to death on a Cap Metro bus is speaking out after filing a lawsuit against the bus operator, who's accused of letting the suspect on even when he didn't pay. Here's more on that story from Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin.
30-year-old Akshay Gupta was an innovator. His parents and brother spoke to Fox 7 from India.
He was dedicated to the humanity, He was not worried about himself.
And he was such a giving nature person, and he was a helpful person. He was outstanding, brilliant person.
Akshay came to the U.S. in 2022 from India to get his master's at Penn State, finishing in just 1 year instead of 2. After briefly working in Florida, he moved to Austin in 2024 because he thought it'd be a good place for a startup. He was working on a device to detect falls in elderly people, inspired by his grandparents.
His dream was to make this a better place for everyone, for the elderly, for the poor.
He was on an O1 visa, which is for those with extraordinary ability. He competed in innovation competitions, many with his longtime friend Garv Jasuja.
He never participated for winning. He participated for having fun, for having to build something, for having built some ideas from scratch, from ground up.
On May 14th, Akshay was on a Cap Metro bus on South Lamar. Police say 31-year-old Deepak Kandel was sitting next to him. He stabbed Akshay in the neck unprovoked before calmly walking off. Kandel told police he stabbed him because he resembled his uncle.
It was just devastating.
That person did not just kill Akshay, he killed a part of us.
We are missing him a lot. It is very difficult to live without him.
Last month, Kandel was found incompetent to stand trial. Now the family is filing a lawsuit against Keolis Transit Services, which was operating the Cap Metro bus. The lawsuit accuses the driver of negligence in letting Kandel get on when he didn't pay a fare, which is a Class C misdemeanor. According to the lawsuit, studies show free fare leads to an increase in violent crime.
Keolis didn't follow the basic rules of requiring people that boarded the bus to have some kind of credentials, be it a free fare card or money or a bus pass or a credit card or a phone. Nothing like that was checked before this man got on the bus.
Akshay's family hopes the court system will give them justice and that no one else gets hurt.
If he was not a sane person, why such person should not be left open on the street to harm people? Such brilliant people should not be killed in such a way and such a mindless act from a mindless person.
Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
Popular singer is continuing his world tour after LA police found a body inside his impounded car. The artist, known as David, performed in Minneapolis just a day after the discovery. Investigators believe that body was stashed in the trunk about 5 days before it was towed to an impound lot. David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, has several songs with billions of streams on Spotify. Spokesperson for the singer says he has been informed about all this and is cooperating with authorities. The police are investigating a gruesome murder at an East Dallas motel. Fox's Stephen Dial has the latest.
It was a gruesome scene Wednesday morning at the downtown suites on Samuel Boulevard off I-30. Dallas police found a man who was beheaded laying in front of a motel room door.
I can't wait to go home and tell my husband I want to pack up and move.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
You live around here?
I do. I live right up the street.
Brianna Irwin was getting gas next door when investigators arrived. Police got the call around 9:30 this morning. They would not confirm the gruesome extent of the injuries, which were obvious in video we are not showing. Investigators will only say that the victim was stabbed multiple times with an edged object. They would also not say what the murder weapon was.
Even though he was armed with a bladed weapon, the officers showed tremendous restraint and used minimal force to apprehend him.
The suspect was arrested down the street at a second location.
Our officers were proactively patrolling the area and responded quickly to take the violent criminal into custody.
The victim was not identified, and it's not clear if the victim and suspect knew each other.
Criminal justice will come swiftly to this man. No doubt in my mind that justice will be served, as much justice as we can possibly get from a horrible crime like this.
Austin Police Department is warning people about a new crime trend. It involves gym memberships and people stealing. Fox 7 Austin's CrimeWatch reporter Meredith Aldis has more.
Thousands of people in Austin have a gym membership, but some aren't there to work out.
These individuals are walking into a locker room with 100 lockers and going, "We're going to find something." That's all there is to it. They're stealing your credit cards, your cash, your identification, all your personal information that you've taken into the gym with you and secured in a locker for that reason.
Roberto Inestroza says he's never thought twice about leaving his belongings behind while working out.
I personally just leave my stuff in the cubby, and I trust the world, or I trust in the universe that's gonna be there when I come back.
But now you're like,
yeah, I think twice.
Detective Sean Green says once the criminals have what they want from the lockers, it's just the beginning.
They're now going to a nearby retailer. They're conducting fraudulent purchases on those credit cards. They're buying gift cards. They're buying laptops. They're buying all sorts of stuff.
So by the time your workout is over and you become aware of what happened, it's too late. and it can be difficult to try to catch the suspects.
They're asking for ID typically for a membership, but we have suspects who are using either fake IDs or their own IDs. The video quality that they're able to provide is definitely a help. If there's exterior cameras, that can be a help to link them to a vehicle, but that isn't always the case. We're now going to the retailers and obtaining footage from them of the individuals making the fraudulent purchases, trying to determine if they're the same people. Either way, the crime is committed on each end, and then we're pursuing those individuals to try and get them identified.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
Thanks for watching the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch YouTube exclusive. Our Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. For more on the stories highlighted in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel. Also, remember, you can watch all of our content and newscasts on our Fox local apps. They're available on mobile and connected TV apps like Roku and Apple TV.